All right, well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. It's so great to see so many faces. I'm Finch Oleynick and I'm a local real estate agent and a former Fairfield County chapter director of a women's networking group called What Women Want. And I did that for about 7 years. So ironically, had you told me 20 years ago or so that I'd be talking today about networking, I would have thought you were crazy. I thought networking was, for sleazy salespeople, didn't understand it at all, had never been to a networking event. But about 15 years ago, a friend called and she said, would you take a phone call from a friend of mine whose name is Judy Goss? And she's the fashion and beauty editor for More Magazine, which was a magazine for women over 40 years old. And she was starting a networking group in New York City. And she wanted to expand to Fairfield County. And she wanted me to lead it up. And I thought, I will definitely take the call. There's no way in hell I'm going to be the chapter director, but I will certainly, would love to talk to her. So once I got on the phone and was talking to her, she explained to me that what she wanted to do was have a community for women to get together and men to get together and connect with each other, encourage each other, and inspire each other. And I thought, I love that. That I can definitely do. So by the end of the phone call, I was the new Fairfield County chapter director for What Women Want Networking. And I did that for about 7 years and I loved it. I had sometimes 2 events per month. I made sure that it was all about connecting naturally, inspiring each other, encouraging each other. I see some past people who used to go to my events here, which, I forged many great friendships and connections. And that's what networking to me was all about. I think the term has grown since those days years ago where it kind of had that bad connotation. So today I'm going to go over some of the tips and things that I learned along the way. And thank you all. We are going to be talking about the benefits of networking. Thank you. Okay, what is networking? It's the practice of building professional relationships to exchange information, share opportunities, and support mutual growth. It helps build meaningful relationships that are beneficial to all parties involved. Here are some famous quotes, one that everybody's always heard is your network, work is your net worth. Also, it's not what you know, but it's who you know. And networking is an essential part of building wealth. I love that one. So here are some of the benefits of networking. Obviously, career opportunities, sharing knowledge, increased visibility, access to resources, personal growth, industry insights, mentorship possibilities, collaborative partnerships, confidence building, and problem-solving support. So where to network? Well, literally the possibilities are endless. HAYVN, of course, is the #1 place to network, right? And darn, Felicia's not here. Usually there's no better place to seek out inspiration, gain access to valuable resources, and thrive around other like-minded individuals, which is exactly what we're doing here today. Obviously, industry events, they're ideal for networking because they gather professionals within your own industry. You can share interest and knowledge in one place. Professional organization, the same thing. They're very valuable. Networking hubs that bring people together in specific fields or industries. Business lunches and coffees. These are a more relaxed and fun way to network and really kind of get to know each other. Hobbies. Hobbies provide. It's like, who's cracking that open? Enjoy that, it sounds good. So hobbies provide a natural, relaxed setting for anybody networking and allows people to connect over shared interests. I know pickleball is huge these days, so there's a lot of networking in pickleball these days as well as golf. And social media. This one I newly added to this slide deck, but LinkedIn is the ultimate online professional networking site. And so many relationships have been made on LinkedIn. So I highly suggest that you use it as an online tool, but also Instagram and Facebook. I've gotten clients that literally saw me, they're like, I like your videos, I like what you do, and I want to work with you. So it's another really great tool and a way to send messages and really get to know people. I have a new whole set of friends just from Instagram and Facebook. Is there anybody using those at higher levels? Getting business? Yeah, Linda, I know that you do, yeah. And basically anywhere you go, you can turn it into a networking event. Even if you're walking your dog and talking to your neighbor on the street. So here are some of the best practices. You want to be genuine and authentic. This builds trust and fosters meaningful connections. Build relationships over time. Remember, it takes time to build any relationship. Be a good listener. This is very, very important. Really listen to the person. And you also want to ask really good questions. And you want to make people feel good. As Maya Angelou said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And this is very true when you're meeting people and certainly at networking events. And you want to give before you get. Focus on helping others first. Share knowledge, resources, and connections freely. Build goodwill and trust through generosity. Create a reputation as a valuable contact and connector. Establish reciprocity, increasing the likelihood of future help. And you want to stay organized. If you're collecting business cards, put them all in one place in your purse or your pocket. Make sure when you go home, you put it all into a database where your contacts are and follow up with everybody. And understand your personal networking goals. When you go to an event, have some goals. How many people do you plan on meeting? Or is there one person that you really want to talk to? Regularly attend events and meetups. If you attend with friends, split up so that you're not just talking to your friend. Split up, say, I'll meet you back at the bar or at the food in 45 minutes. See how many people that you can meet, but do so genuinely. Initiate contact with potential connections. Follow up consistently after initial meetings. And stand by the bar, by the food area. That's where people gather the most. And the easiest way to spike up a conversation. Marie, you're looking. Yes. It's so true though. It's so true. You know, we're standing in line for the food or for the bar. I mean, you just easily start talking. And have fun. I love that, Marie. Everybody is planting. Pictures so much. It's so great. Thanks, Christine. What did you say?
It looks like she and Linda are sharing a private.
It does. I'm enjoying some wine. I know, exactly.
I'm like, Marie, stop drinking.
But that's what it's all about.
Now, do you do the slide presentation all over like Fairfield?
It's all right. I sure do. Now, what to say when you don't really know what to say? Come with some prepared questions, such as how can I help you? But also others like, what brought you here today? Have you been here before? Do you know this guest speaker? You know, what's your role in your company? How long have you been in your industry? Think of questions so that you're prepared. And the more questions you ask, the better relationship you're going to have, and you seem genuinely interested in them. You want to make it about them, and then you'll get as well. It's that reciprocity. So networking rules. Now, number one is carry business cards. I know, who has a digital business card? Okay, I thought actually more hands were gonna go up, and those are great. But oftentimes at a networking event, it's like you're fumbling, you're not sure if you have the Wi-Fi or the password. Oftentimes those don't work very well, and if you miss that chance, you've missed it. So at networking events, I always suggest you have a card as well. And you know, you can put your QR code on it to have them follow you on Instagram or LinkedIn or your website, but always have a personal card. It's much easier, especially if you're at a big networking event. And know your elevator pitch. Keep it clear and concise. Nobody wants you to go on like literally longer than a minute. One of the great little templates that I am the one who helps, you see here down on the bottom, your client to whatever problem it is so that they can get the result. That's a great little template to start from for anybody's business. It's short, it's concise, and it gets to the point. And always follow up. So here are some books about networking that are great. Obviously, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie, Never Eat Alone, Give and Take, Atomic Habits I just read, which is really good, and How to Talk to Anybody. And then on the other side, those are some podcasts that are really great. I'll keep that up for a minute. Does anybody else have any podcasts or books that they're reading that they could recommend? Yeah? Are you raising your hand?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I like Diary of a CEO, which is a podcast.
Oh, that's great. Who's that?
Stephen Bartlett.
Okay, great.
YouTube has some really good TED Talks that you can listen to
That's a
about
great
like how
idea.
to be a good listener or how to start a conversation. So I don't know how other people access TED Talks, but I only go through YouTube.
I do too.
Yeah.
Me too. No, that's a great resource. Your hand was up, DJ?
Oh, also a big fan of Atomic Habits, and Diary of a CEO. I like Ali Abdaal as well for small business and tech, and who was this one more?
It'll come to you. All right. Anybody else? Yes?
Classic 7 Habits of Highly Effective.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great one.
And
Linda?
also too, Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David is really good, and he's awesome.
That's great. I've never heard of him.
Yeah, he's
Great.
really, his Instagram is great and his YouTube.
Great.
What's his name? Patrick Davis?
Patrick Bet, B-E-T, and then David. Patrick Bet-David.
James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, has a weekly newsletter that he sends out that also has helpful news.
Oh, great, great,
He's been
great
doing that for
resources.
years. He used to do it daily and now it's just once a week.
Right, oh, great. Yeah, I'll have to add all those to that slide. So in summary, here are the top 5 networking tips. Be prepared. As I've said, go in with a plan in place. If it's 1 person or 5 people, have a plan, okay? Be authentic. People are more likely to connect with you if you are genuine and show true interest in them. Be memorable. Have a clear and concise elevator pitch that showcases your unique value proposition. Follow up, always send a follow-up email or message or even a phone call at least 24 to 48 hours to keep the conversation going. And also follow them on social media. You can start and keep the conversation going easily that way as well. And give back. Remember, networking is a two-way street. So offer to help others and make introductions to people in your network. Where to network, as I've said, some of these, HAYVN, obviously, industry conferences, professional associations, volunteering events is also another great one, alumni groups, meetup groups, social media, community service projects, personal hobby groups, and lunches and coffees. And remember, overall, networking and making connections with people can help you and your business, and it can bring joy, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose to your life. And I thank you all for being here. Certainly want to open it up. I'd love your thoughts. Any questions? Yes.
So I have never done a meetup, but
Okay.
other people say, oh my God, they're so great, but I don't really understand what they are.
And I agree. I haven't been to one, so has anybody been to one?
Done a bunch.
And are they good? Are they helpful?
For networking, yeah, I think it's probably a good.
Are there a lot?
Like social.
Where do you find, what?
Right,
On meetup.com.
Them tend to be for like single and divorced people.
okay,
Just for them,
So-
which is why.
But if you, it's what.com?
Meetup.com.
Meetup.com.
And then you can use the search field to search for
like in
your
your
networking events in
That's cool.
Darien, Connecticut. And
Oh.
yeah, just like a Google. It's
It's good.
like an aggregator almost, but it's all done through Meetup.
Is it mostly women?
No, it's everything. So there's like dog meetups, there's everything.
There's every kind of thing you can imagine, from industry to specific like real estate, to pets, to arts and crafts, to.
There's always a theme. It's like, well,
that side of the room. Because every time I'm looking at them like they're.
That's right.
Yeah. DJ?
To add on to the meetup, journey of how I even got to this here.
Right,
I went to a local coffee shop and it's usually dead in the morning. And I get there, everybody's wearing a name tag, the room's a buzz, there's like 50 people all just talking. I go up to one of them and I said, what's going on here? And I go,
right.
oh, it's a meetup of all startup founders. And I'm like, well,
Wow.
this is perfect. So I had a full-time job and I called my boss, I'm like, I'm really late, I'm gonna network and we wanted a name tag and started chatting people up. And then the founder of that meetup sends out, actually her name is Jess. And she sends out to all these founders, different meetups around the state, and this is one of the events. And I decided to join. So sometimes just, yeah, showing up for coffee.
Right. Isn't that great? Well, then that's awesome. Huh, great question.
I can't wait.
I know. This side of the room, we've got to go with that side of the room. Absolutely. I saw some other hands. Yes.
Are you, so usually I'm pretty good about, like, if I meet someone and we exchange cards, I'm really good at like reaching out the next day or within 2 days, sending an email. And everyone is so busy right now, so I never take it personally if I don't hear back.
Right.
But like, I never then feel comfortable sending a second email.
Right.
So how would you handle that situation?
Just like you said, I know you're so busy, just wanted to say a quick hello, can we meet for coffee or anything I can help you with? But I would say just that, I know how busy you are, because people are busy. I also would follow them on social media and reach out that way as well. But I would definitely follow up again.
Okay, even if it's been like 2 months?
Yeah, absolutely. Just was thinking about you, how are you?
Cause I feel like when you let the ball drop.
Right, and you know what, you can find something that maybe a meetup, that, hey, you wanna go with me to this meetup, or do you wanna come with me for coffee and conversations at HAYVN? Something like
Okay,
that.
like making a suggestion of.
Exactly, so it kind of gives you a reason to,
That's a really good idea.
Okay.
Another-
I can make a suggestion.
Sure.
A follow-up email, because as a bank manager, I send out emails to prospects all the time, and I know I got put in junk.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you're sending your email, even if you didn't follow up immediately and you just say, hey, I was at the event where you presented, Christine, the networking, and I learned so much. It just going back to how you met that person.
To jog their memory.
Right, and then they might be interested because you were interested enough to do something they did, and then they want to talk to you. But if you're like me, just out of the blue say, I just want to help you with your banking, delete. I mean,
Right.
that kind of stuff doesn't work.
not at all, no,
Really,
absolutely, yes.
So the other thing I would say is, I think people have inside time and outside time. Inside time is when we think about it and we haven't been there. Outside time is that person, I met you 2 months ago. It feels like it was just yesterday.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So reaching out again and saying something like, hey, I mentioned this thing, but let's connect on LinkedIn. And that's a way to start a conversation too. Because then you get them in your network, then you get to see all the other people they have. And it makes it's a great way to start that conversation.
And look at their profile on LinkedIn, if they just posted something and say, hey, I mean, that's a great way to start a conversation. Hey, I just saw you got a job promotion, or I just saw this great post that you did. How wonderful, and do you want, let's connect again.
I'm really shy on LinkedIn because I know they can see if you like. I know
Who
that
cares?
it's so stupid, but I don't like when they can see that I have been to their page.
You can change
Why
it.
not? You can change that.
Yeah, you can change it.
But don't you have to have like professional?
No.
Yeah.
You can change it.
But isn't that good though?
And-
Isn't that good? Because you don't have to see that you're engaging.
Or that you're following, yeah, like there's two ways to look at it.
Not.
But I mean, but if they're on LinkedIn,
Right,
they want people to look at their stuff, so why would you be stopping them?
Right.
I don't understand what that means. Somebody can see that you're on the, that you looked at their profile.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'll get a notification saying 10 people looked at your profile
Right.
this week. I'm like, all right.
But I don't care.
Yeah,
They're not.
I'm like, that's good. That number should be higher.
In the back.
You're not doing it in triple digits a day, I think you're.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
My auto insurance agent told me this story about persistence and following up. Everybody knows you need homeowners and auto insurance.
Right.
And he was trained when he started in this field, that you need to reach out 8 to 12 times.
That's true.
For people to even respond, because they could be busy, they could be on vacation, they could be in a bad mood. You need to catch them at the right time. And if you've done it once or twice and it wasn't the right time, you lost the opportunity. Whereas, you know, years ago, when I left my corporate job, somebody sent a notice to a large company. And the guy who it was sitting on his desk, the secretary opened the mail, it was sitting on the top of his inbox. He just came out of a meeting with his boss where they wanted him to do something, and she was the answer to that.
Yeah.
And she got a $25,000 contract, which in today's dollars isn't much, but in the early 90s, that was a lot.
That's still a lot. Right, right.
But it was an answer to a problem that just presented
Right.
itself. And you don't know when you're
Right.
gonna connect with somebody at that level.
And you have to think of it the other way. I know that you feel embarrassed, and believe me, I used to too. Think, when somebody reaches out to you and said, hey, I was just thinking about you, it was great meeting you 2 months ago, wouldn't you be flattered?
Yeah, like.
They're not gonna think, oh my God, she's stalking me. Like, they're gonna be flattered. So
Right,
you
right.
definitely just do
Okay,
so.
that was helpful.
Yeah.
And I find the more uncomfortable you are, the more you have to push yourself to do that. Yeah, there's things that are so uncomfortable for me and I'm like, oh God, and they won't even remember it next time you see them. And, or hopefully they will in this case, obviously.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Sometimes I find that.
Yeah, absolutely. Gina?
I was just gonna offer a suggestion of creating a template for your follow-up
Absolutely.
that you can go to every time, put it in your email templates or in a Google Doc or something,
Yeah.
and then obviously customize it to, you know, whatever the situation is, and that way, at least you have it there and you're not recreating it,
Right.
and it's kind of taking away that barrier of resistance to like, oh my God, what am I gonna
Right.
say?
And also put in their social media handles and follow them, because it's a great way to, even if they just had a birthday, like, that's a great, easy way to reach out to them. Yes, Virginia?
You mentioned before about when you go home from an event, you enter in your, you know, the cards and stuff.
Yes.
Any suggestions on, like, is there?
So I use an Excel sheet
Okay.
for all mine, and and then I send out all my emails through Constant Contact.
Okay.
But I've got, you know, a list for real estate, I've got a list for people I met at HAYVN, I've got a list for everything so that I know where they are, and then send out emails or suggest or text or whatever accordingly. Yeah. DJ actually was next.
Just one thing about like the emails and, you know, the waiting to reply. I recently set up a software called HubSpot.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, so a client relationship management system, and there's something about being able to know that they opened the email. To, you know, and that there's automations in it, so I can set up like a drip campaign, so let's say they open it, but you get no reply, all right, in a week, it can be like,
You can
hey,
read that,
just, you know,
right?
just checking in, or if they didn't open it, okay, like then you know, there's something about having that knowledge is power. You're like, okay, how do I respond to them either opening it, maybe they opened it twice, they still
Right.
replied. So a CRM can be pretty useful in like giving you confidence in how you should proceed as well.
Absolutely. And is that still free or do you have to pay for it?
No, so HubSpot is not free, but they it used to be, it's still very expensive, but they set up 2 small business at a much lower price point. One was a starter plan for both the marketing side and the sales side, which is what I subscribe to, so I'm not
Great.
pay $100 a month.
Great.
But it's for the money, it's pretty good.
Great.
Ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I think it's the best story.
Okay.
I mean, it's my story, so I think it's the best story.
Okay.
So,
We're ready.
in terms of the power of a business card.
Yeah.
And stepping outside your comfort zone many years ago, I met somebody in the lobby of a community center and heard him talking about a subject that I had to know more about. Long story short, we stood and talked for a long time. And I said, I want to reconnect with you. I need to learn more about this. I took his business card, put it in my pocket and went to go work out. And as I was turning to walk away, he said, I'm sorry, can I take the liberty of asking you for your phone number? And I said, well, I'm going to call you. I just attacked you here in the community center.
Right.
He said, well, I was always trained to do that as a salesperson. Long story, not so short. I went to call him.
Right.
Next day, realized the business card was gone. And was like dejected, like I didn't know what to do.
Right.
I didn't remember his name, anything. The next morning, my phone rang and it was him. And he said, hi, my name is Stephen Friedman. And I said, oh my God, I lost your card. He said, I know, I found it in the parking lot.
Oh my God.
We are now married.
I was It's awesome.
Worth it to do both of those.
Absolutely, that is awesome. Marie, you had your hand up.
I was gonna further comment on using a CRM. I often recommend that to my clients as a real foundation for their marketing. You know, as you meet people, you know, collect, you know, the people you've met in a CRM, it helps you have an organized place for it. Other than automations, it allows you to have a history of the contact you have with these people and also set up a future point in time to follow up with someone. So it gives you like a plan to work with. Okay, if I hadn't heard from this person for 2 weeks, but it took for a date and they're to follow up with them in a month or so in a different way for an email. But also it's the great foundation for your organization, your market.
Absolutely.
Then potentially you can add them to your email list.
Right. Absolutely. Anybody else? Yes.
So Christine, you talked about when you took over and have for 7 years did this group. What did it require and how much time to create the group yourself of people who are interested? And how did you manage that?
Great question. When I first started, I wasn't in real estate, so I was kind of doing it full time and helping her grow and expand outside of Connecticut and New York, but it does take time. The more you did it, the easier it got, but I went to different events, so I had to hold them there was no HAYVN then. So I had to call up restaurants and car dealerships and furniture stores and say, listen, for restaurants, I said, I'm gonna bring 30 women into your restaurant. I want the space for free. They'll probably stay and drink and have dinner. And I do tons of social media. So you're getting exposure, getting the women together. And then I also would get great guest speakers, which would help the draw, and the speaker would speak for about a half hour. And again, we went around the room, everybody introduced themselves, and then everybody stayed and mingled at the end. I kind of got it down to a science by the end, and then COVID hit. So I couldn't do it anymore, and then real estate took off, so didn't have the time to do it anymore. So I miss it, but HAYVN has given me a great place to do things like this and meet other people. But it took a while, but again, people were open to it. And again, they got great exposure for it. And so many connections have been made, which is what I'm really proud. I literally just hosted it, and the connections that were made are something I'm proud of. Yeah.
My follow-up is, did you use Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn? How did you build your audience?
All of them. My background's in advertising and social media and marketing. So, and I'm now a social media consultant. So I use all of them, and with pictures, videos, everything, and my email list as well. Plus I put them in, you know, the local Westport patch and the Weston patch and the Darien patch and all the Hamlet hubs. I called News 12. Like I have a pretty robust checklist of things that I do to get that word out. Yes, Marie.
I think building your email list is one of the most important things.
Absolutely.
You're not at the mercy of the algorithms and social media, but building your email list, again, another recommendation I make to my clients.
You guys still get
Network
emails
Yeah.
from me from my What Women Want email list. So you're on it. So absolutely.
It's the way you create that hum of your presence in the background of someone, like, you know, when you send emails off, and you turn it into a newsletter.
Right. But you need those emails.
Orbit.
Right, you just have to keep them and continue to
You
grow
get
to
them-
get those
You
emails.
get them through networks.
Exactly. Yeah. Great question. Anybody else?
I remember that podcast I recommended.
Oh, great. I had forgotten. So tell us.
I recommend Future with no E at the end. The
Best.
the
Yes.
best.
Wow, great.
Future, the future with no E at the end. It's on YouTube. I think, you know, like the theme of like reciprocity, like his whole thing, he's a branding and marketing expert, so his brand advice is unbelievable.
Great.
His name is Chris Doe.
Chris, that's right.
Let's go. Great.
And he just gives everything away, like his whole
How you spell
YouTube thing.
D-O.
He gives out the most amount of content all for free to be that industry expert. He'll have meetups like this, film it and put it out there and everyone can just watch.
That's awesome.
And it's just really valuable advice.
Great. I'm so glad that you remembered that.
Grant Cardone's good too.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna
Podcast suggestion.
Great.
There's a woman in the AEC industry, architectural engineering construction industry, and she has a book called This Shit Works. And a podcast, and she uses that word a lot. She's a little aggressive, but she's hysterical. And she just put her podcast on the top, but there's a lot of them in the library. And at the end of each podcast, she gives a drink of the week. Which is her kind of kitschy, that kind of thing, yeah, which is fun. But because it all revolves around a lot of social events that you go to with
Absolutely, right.
But she's hysterical, she's very entertaining, and she has a lot of suggestions, other suggestions for networking. I don't even mind what you said, but
Awesome.
they're fun.
Yes,
I can't emphasize enough that LinkedIn has an amazing tool.
I completely agree with you.
And if
That's
you-
what people are there for. Yeah.
Particularly for selling as opposed to marketing. The transition is selling, it's more one-to-one.
Right. With that, you just be careful. Start a conversation first. Do not come out with an ask. Naturally, it will come up what you do for business anyway. So don't get, I mean, I get so many of those on LinkedIn where I accepted them and then I get this automatic thing.
There's a
Will
lot
you
of that.
sign up for this and that? Please don't do that because I delete them immediately.
Yeah.
So on that point, I get maybe 3 to 4 or 5 connection requests, most of them from Indian software developers.
Yeah.
Plenty of those. But everyone, and so but I still have to look at it. Do I want to, do I know this person? Have I met them? Why are they reaching out to me? Is it spam?
Right.
And I got one last night and I said, oh, this might be interesting. And, but I still said ignore. I should have said at least wait, because he's sitting right there.
Hysterical.
That might be my story, I don't know.
So the marriage.
The networking piece is, it's Julie Brown is the person who has This Shit Works.
Okay, great.
Not saying that.
Oh, I don't think you mentioned her.
Oh, sorry, okay, thank you.
There's this woman.
Plant in my eye.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes, sure.
It's great because she has guest people on there. Some of them are 7 minutes, some of them are 12 minutes. It's a perfect thing to listen in the car and there's probably 300 episodes.
Perfect.
And she's all about getting more comfortable with networking and reaching out and all that. So it's a great add-on to what you've given us, Christine.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you. Yes.
This might be a question for another time, but what exactly is LinkedIn like?
What is it?
It's business Facebook.
So
Yeah.
that's a perfect way to say it. It's literally it's online business networking. And it's a great way to introduce yourself to other people, follow your friends, colleagues, coworkers, people in your industry.
So it's for an individual, not a company?
It's it's for both. For you, it would be individual. For me, it's even though I work for a big company, I'm my own individual on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, I highly recommend it, absolutely.
Yeah, their company might wanna be on LinkedIn too.
Absolutely.
Your company will want to be on LinkedIn.
So you'd have a LinkedIn page and then an individual profile. Yes. You can reach out, I teach a class on it if you want some help, I'd be happy to. Yeah.
Yeah, we just networked. We just networked.
That should be. I'm doing the same with Linda right after this, so.
Are you gonna have a LinkedIn class soon?
Felicia, am I? Leslie?
Yeah, actually, what was it, we had a meeting the other day and, he asked, and there was interest for that.
Oh, yeah, so there's a bit-
How many people were on the-
Oh, yeah.
I would.
Yes.
We can talk, we can talk,
Yeah.
piggyback off.
So stay tuned, everybody, yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
And you did another social media class.
I have, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then Nancy Sheed too. also.
Yeah, she's fabulous, as well. I've learned a lot from
So maybe you
Nancy.
join.
Absolutely, oh my God, that would be great. That would be really great. Yeah, so stay tuned, thanks for asking.
Yeah, well, we're doing our programming for next year, right? We're
Yes.
starting to put it all together, so we're
Perfect.
definitely, and we're thinking about, this is kind of a question for people I'm gonna ask. We do this once a month, these sessions, and Leslie was talking about, should we go to twice a month? Like, would you, we used to do that every day during COVID. And then we went to like virtually, that was how we started this whole thing, and then we went to once a week, and that was too much. And we'd like to, make sure people want to attend, but.
Absolutely.
We have a virtual option and do it twice a month.
Virtual,
Yeah, that might.
We went to
Good.
virtual and then we decided.
The problem with virtual is, this is so much better in person.
Yeah.
I know it gives people the option, but especially for a networking thing, we wanted people in person to be here, but I do like that there's an option.
We tape it, so like, it's all recorded, so people can watch it if they wanna watch it.
Right.
But we decided no longer have people online and then in person.
Right.
We want people here.
Oh, it's recorded.
Yeah, recording, if, to be able to watch it later. would
This is
be
on
awesome.
our website too. We have a whole section on our.
So yes, to twice a month?
Yeah.
That works.
Say yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the content. It might be interesting.
Absolutely, it does, yeah. I wouldn't start that in August, but maybe in September. Yeah. Yeah.
Seasonal too, yeah.
Right.
Right.
You have a question, yes.
Well, I was just curious because people will say, oh, well, Kristen, like you're an extrovert, you don't mind putting yourself out there, but I'm an introvert, I'm trying. And I'm like, no, I just have strategies for like the crickets. Everybody hates the crickets. Like,
Right.
you put yourself out there and there's no response.
Right.
So like, I would never follow up with someone unless I'm following up with at least 3 people. Because 1 out of the 3 will reply.
Right.
And then I feel
Right.
great. I don't care.
There you go.
I totally forget about the other 2. I don't even remember them.
Right,
But like, I just feel like I have some strategies because I know the crickets suck. So I go,
Right.
I don't know that I'm like uniquely extroverted. I just.
No, I think it's just good to remember that people are busy. And again, if they don't get back to you the first time, they will eventually. And if they don't, then they work for you anyway. Let's that natural relationship connection.
And you can't take it personally if they don't know you as a person, like if they're
Right.
even gotten that far, it's like.
Exactly.
You stood up, they don't know you,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
I still do 3 at a time. I mean, because you're gonna want to put someone. There you go.
I like that. I like that.
That's why she's a numbers person.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, for those of you who are interested in migrating to CRM solutions, so I recently did that because I was managing it in my head. I didn't even have an Excel spreadsheet. It has been a tremendous help. So I went through like HubSpot, I compared like Soul CRM, a number of different solutions that are tailored for like small business. I didn't have to pay too much. And I landed on Pipedrive. I really love it. It's not a lot of money and tremendous help.
That's
I
great.
get cash above I know.
There you go. And guys, follow me on LinkedIn and I'll follow you back and on all the other social media channels. Anything else?
Oh, yeah, so there's another one that, unfortunately, we're not on it here, but for my next company or whatever, active campaign.
Yeah, great. Is it good?
We're looking for another one.
Oh, Jenny's looking for another one.
Are you not happy with that?
For different reasons, but maybe it just doesn't fit for our needs.
Right, right.
Yeah, but it is.
Zoho and Let's Knowing CRM are also really good ones. There's, I know that one's.
I love that name.
Yeah.
Monday.com. Monday.com.
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
Monday has a little bit more to it than CRM, the project manager.
It's got- yeah,
That
it's
one's
got-
next.
Price point stuff, it's for small business.
You wanna get in?
No, I don't. As you were talking, I just wanted to get a shot, because I'll put it on LinkedIn and all my social media networks. Not mentioning it. I always do, always do. Well, this has been great. If anybody else has any questions or thoughts, we can wrap this up. And I thank you all so very much.
Thank you.